On another note, what about your Roosters? In my time in rugby league, I'm trying to think of a bigger upset. I remember the Roosters one year winning the competition, and the Gold Coast beat them in the last game of the round, they were about 10, 11 to 1. But you know, who thinks about odds and winning money? But that one, 11 to 1 to start the game.
What did they do well?
The Roosters, look, Coops, they scored 38 points, but upsets are driven by defence and high pressure defence. You know, defence wins matches, defence wins comps, because defence is desire. That's what it is. And you could see that had been in their bonnet after the week before, and rightfully so. Their sword had been sharpened by all the criticism. And let's not take anything away from the Roosters, but they came up against a side who all week have been told you're going to win by 50, 60 points. 11 to 1, 12 to 1. Is this the biggest despised outsiders in modern history of the game? And I've got no doubt they bled into them. And what fed that was Alamoti scoring that frightfully soft try. That's where he scored. And I thought to myself, wow, this is... And I reckon they probably thought the same thing.
Yeah, and the one thing for the Roosters was Panthers probably played an average game. They still scored 32 points, and they went within a centimetre of potentially sent it to golden points. So the ability for Penrith, even though they're not playing well, is just to still compete on every play.
We've seen this in previous seasons, haven't we? You know, they build into their year, and they have a game like this. You know, last year they were knocked over by Wigan, and a couple of years ago they were beaten in the early rounds.
But I think one thing that the Roosters did well is probably the first time in a while, like the tall timber of, say, Daniel Tupou and Dominic Young really exposed sort of Dylan Edwards, Brian Totten, the smaller back three, where they were just jumping up and catching everything or competing for things. And I think Melbourne actually did it at Penrith when they beat them basically for the minor premiership at home last year too. So that might be something that teams with bigger outside backs might try and do.
Not a lot has been made of this, but the move from Penrith Park or BlueBet Stadium to CommBank it'll be a factor this year.
How big a factor though? We're talking
as far as minor premierships. Like I still see them in the top 4.
Yeah.
But put it this way, Coops. I reckon Penrith Park. I reckon a lot of sides that would travel out there on a Friday or Saturday night will be beaten before they get off the bus. It's just such a tough place to win, and it's just that. It's a furnace with all the Panthers fans. I liken it, Coop, to the Broncos in the early 90s, actually right through the mid-90s. They moved out of Lang Park while it was getting redone, and they went to QE2 Stadium. I forget what it was called. 64,000 people. It was an awful place to play. Although there were 60,000 people, it was a long way away, a little bit like the old Stadium Australia when it was the Olympic track on there. But the Broncos loved it because it was such a tough place to go, and I didn't like playing there, and opponents didn't like playing there. Their win rate was about 78, 79%.
Damn good team too at that
time. Damn good side. But Coops, then they moved back to their home, Suncorp Stadium, but everyone else, the other sides loved playing there as well.
I'll give you that. I think some teams that played Penrith at Penrith Park would have been half beaten before they arrived. But I think Penrith, on the other hand, have this mindset of they'll play anyone anywhere. I don't know if Penrith would suffer from not playing at home because they've just got this ability to play at Accor, play at Suncorp, play at Las Vegas and still get the job done. But I'll give you the tip that maybe other teams feel a little bit more happier that they don't have to go to...
Well, what about you blokes? The old Olympic Park. What an arse of a place that was. What an awful place. And then you move into Amy Park and, the winning continues, but for opposing teams, such a better place to play.
So in winter at the old Olympic Park, Bellamy would never let us wear a jumper. It's 3 degrees outside on a Saturday night. Refused for us to run out and warm up and wear a jumper. But he always said if the opposition's wearing a jacket, we've got them beat before they start. And you'd run out for warm up and you'd see maybe 6 of the guys wearing their hoodie or a bit of a jacket and you go, yep, we've got them tonight.